Greetings, Whovians, and welcome to Timey Wimey Review in tribute to Nabil Shaban, who sadly passed away a few weeks ago at the age of 72. I thought I'd check out and review a spin-off which I didn't even know existed until earlier this year, and that is Syl and the Devil Seeds of Arodor. So this is just a unofficial sort of Doctor Who spin-off produced by Real Time Pictures. Is this worth watching? Well, please hit the subscribe button. Let's give this a review, and here's my thoughts from Real Time Pictures, which was originally released back in 2019. Just to give you a quick overview of the plot without giving away too many spoilers, we see Syl return, but this time he is in prison. He's in a lunar penal colony cell, waiting for trial for drug trafficking offences, which the drugs that was supplied to Earth had devastating consequences for the humans of Earth. After a failed escape with trying to bribe the prison guards, he is to be standing trial with the adjudicator for these offences. Not only that, the Universal Monetary Fund are not very happy with Syl with this whole sort of failed drug smuggling that took place. So, in a sense, Syl has just got enemies in every corner, including the returning Lord Kiv, as played by Christopher Ryan. He is there essentially as Syl's solicitor, but he also tries to attempt to get rid of Syl. So it's a back against the wall type of story mixed in with courtroom drama. The plaudits go to Nabil Shaban as Syl, a returning Syl. So if you're not quite aware of this character, I would say he was a very iconic villain for the Whoniverse. First appeared in the Sixth Doctor story Vengeance on Varos, and then was part of the Trial of the Time Lord season in the 4-part episode Mind Warp. And yeah, the laugh is instantly recognizable. So if you haven't seen any of those classic stories, you might get sort of muddled into what's kind of going on here. But even if you haven't, Nabil Shaban as Syl is just phenomenal. A fantastic actor who was very sadly missed. He's never missed a beat portraying the villainous Syl. And that's the only way you can describe this kind of character is villainous. I kind of thought when I saw the front cover of this Blu-ray or DVD that I'm wondering if they're going to go into sort of like the more lovable type of villain-ish, maybe like a Quark from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, but no, he has still got all of his guile and cunning, and again, yeah, all brought to life by Nabil Shaban. Even the prosthetic makeup that they've used here, bearing in mind this is a low budget Doctor Who spin-off, you know, it's not like it's going to be all sort of glitz and glamour. This is like low budget stuff, but they've done a fantastic job with the makeup and the voice as well. I think there's like a slight voice modulator for Nabil as Syl, and sometimes they can sound pretty bad in post-production, but here, no, absolutely spot on. Everything looks perfect for Syl, and again, fantastic character portrayal by Nabil Shaban. It is great casting all round. We have a returning Christopher Ryan as Lord Kiff. This time he's more, again, don't want to go into too much spoilers, but this time he's kind of in a humanoid form to be Syl's solicitor. And again, Christopher Ryan never missed a beat. It just sounds exactly like Lord Kiff as we last saw in Mind Warp. And yeah, carrying on the idea that his brain can be transported or transplanted into any body, and this particular body was a very good solicitor, so that was quite a nice quinky dink for Syl there. But again, wonderful portrayals there by Christopher Ryan. Another big Doctor Who name which took me a few seconds to recognize is Sophie Aldred. Sophie plays Mistress Na, who was hired by Syl as part of the Universal Monetary Corporation Fund, and yes, she played this really well because she's quite her voice is quite instantly recognisable, with her, of course, being Ace in Doctor Who. So she had to sort of change things up a bit. And yeah, it was very more a sort of a sinister tone that she uses, and there's a very interesting scene, shall I say, between Mistress Na and Syl, where Syl needs to have like this sponge bath on a daily basis, keep his skin all moist and moisturized. And yeah, Mistress now volunteered, much to the delight of Syl. So yeah, that went on for quite a while. um, very interesting scene. But again, props to Sophie Aldred as well. I thought, in the sort of like not allowed to mention, she kind of reminded me of a Draconian that was seen in the Third Doctor story, Frontier in Space. But again, very different character to Ace, and fair play to Sophie Aldred to take the time and put on all the makeup as well, and prosthetic makeup. Apparently this is something that she always wanted to do, and well, she got a wish here. And yeah, a very good portrayal for Mistress Na. The other name that I recognised from this cast was Janet Henfrey as the Adjudicator. I recognised her from randomly an episode of One Foot in the Grave. I think she was in charge of this old folks home that Victor Meldrew turned up at when he got lost somewhere in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, it was not a very nice old folks home, and Victor Meldrew took on vengeance. Anyway, yeah, I digress. But yeah, again, she was really good as the Adjudicator. In fact, the whole cast was really good. It was kind of like a weird sort of, in terms of like sort of pyramid structure, it was definitely the Nabil Shaban show, and quite rightly so. But the rest of the supporting cast, again, really put in an effort, really put in a good performance. Didn't phone it in at all. Their performances just adds extra weight to this production. In terms of the story, though, this was written by Philip Martin, who wrote Vengeance on Varos and Mind Warp. So this is all from the world of Philip Martin's Doctor Who. So this is where obviously they were allowed to use certain characters and certain sort of bits and bobs from Doctor Who without getting into too much trouble. And again, yeah, definitely you can tell it's from the mind of Philip Martin. Very political, very satirical in its storytelling, and very relevant to today. So again, I kind of thought that Syl might have been like a Quark-like character from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Nope. Let's look somewhere sort of further American. I'll just leave it as that. Particularly how how this story sort of played out with the trial, where when, again, don't want to go too much into spoilers, but when Syl's back was really against the wall, he wanted to become president of the Eurozone, or put himself in to be the next president of the Eurozone. We'll leave it as that. But again, yeah, very interesting story. It's not for everyone's. If it's not for everyone's taste. If you are not a fan of sort of political courtroom drama, you might find this a bit of a slog to get through. Yeah, the pacing was a little bit off in some areas, but for me, I was engaged. I was intrigued by this 4-part story, and that's what also helps really. It kind of goes into that classic Doctor Who vibe to a certain extent, with this being 4 25-minute episodes. I also quite liked the CGI that they used here for the opening title sequence and the sort of lunar penal colony as well. It's not being used overly much in these episodes, but I thought it was okay. I've read in other sort of parts that sort of leading to this review that it was the sort of the weakest point for this story. I thought it was fine. Again, I wasn't expecting big things. Maybe if they wanted to go down the full-on sort of 80s route, maybe they should have just done some model shots and model work. But again, I can understand that costing a lot of time and money. So fair play for using CGI, because that's going to be an easier, a quicker way of doing the shots that they needed. But no, I thought it looked absolutely fine. I had no issues there. In short, I did have a good time with this story. Like I said, it's not for everyone. If you are new to Doctor Who, I would sort of build yourself up into the classic era before sort of taking on something like this. But if you are a hardcore Doctor Who fan, I do recommend this. I thought it had really good production values. The storytelling was interesting. It just all the plaudits though goes to Nabil Shaban. Really, he was just fantastic. He was fantastic then as Sil, and just ramped it up another 50 million notches in this production. And also with the supporting cast like Sophie Aldred and Christopher Ryan. But yeah, Sil was the key player for this story, and Nabil didn't disappoint. Just gruesome and villainous and cunning as always, and definitely what you wanted to see in Sil. I'm going to give Sil and the Devil Seeds of Arodor a TARDIS rating of 7 out of 10. It's not like the most best production show you're ever going to see, of course. It is a low budget, unofficial Doctor Who release. But again, I just enjoyed the story. And the main reason why I feel quite highly about that rating is just the labour of love that you can see from this production. Yes, it doesn't have the big budgetary money. You know, you had like a random cameo-ish appearance of Boba Fett for, you know, reasons. Why not? Obviously the sets, you know, they look good, but you can tell it is like a very sort of blocky wooden set. But it's just the labour of love of telling a story, expanding on the Whoniverse with the wonderful characters that was created by Philip Martin and then portrayed by the wonderful actors and actresses like Nabil, Christopher, and Sophie. And that's what sort of drawn me to this story. Like I said, I didn't even know this this production existed until earlier this year. I managed to get myself a really cheap copy from the Doctor Who convention Hooverville earlier this year over the summer, and yeah, it hasn't disappointed. I'm so glad that I managed to pick up a copy, and I recommend for diehard fans as well to add to your Doctor Who collections to go find this copy. It's a great tribute for Nabil Shaban as well, and yeah, it is quite easily available online. But have you watched Sil and the Devil Seeds of Arendor? If you have, let me know in the comments below, and also let me know what's been your favourite Doctor Who spin-off, whether it's been the official ones like the Sarah Jane Adventures or Torchwood or Class, or even the unofficial ones like Sil and Devil Seeds of Arendor, or even Downtime back from the Wilderness years. Any of those, let me know in the comments. But thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have, please like, share and subscribe. Hit the cloister bell for more notifications. Come say hello and follow me on Facebook and X. And do check out my other fantastic Doctor Who related content on Timey Wimey Review TikTok and right here on the Timey Wimey Review YouTube channel. Thank you as always for your love and support. Until we meet again.